Olá, pessoal, bem-vindos. Hoje a gente vai começar essa sessão com a Salem State University. Vai ser em inglês, está sendo gravada, então depois vocês vão ter acesso a essa sessão. As perguntas podem ir para o chat, a gente vai responder ou durante ou no final da sessão. E para quem não conhece o Education USA, ele é a fonte oficial sobre educação nos Estados Unidos. Temos 40 escritórios no Brasil e a gente ajuda alunos que precisam de acompanhamento na candidatura para universidades americanas. Então, a gente está sempre oferecendo webinars como esse, gratuitos, com universidades para vocês conhecerem melhor o processo e essas instituições. Julie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Victoria, for having us. We are from Salem State University, as you said, which is in Salem, Massachusetts, about 20 miles, 30 kilometers north of the city of Boston. With me is my colleague, Rafaela Almeida. She is a native of Brazil. And if anyone would like translation at the end, or if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand and Rafaela will be happy to also speak to you in Portuguese. So thank you for your interest. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can gain experience while pursuing a degree in the United States. As you know, building a resume for future employment, future opportunities is important. So we are going to share with you today some ways that you can do that. So in general, the things I'm going to talk about today are on-campus employment, graduate assistantships, campus engagement, volunteering, what we call curricular practical training, and optional practical training, which are opportunities for international students to work while in your programs. And we will say a little more about all of those topics. These are some pictures that we're showing you of our students and of our campus. But what I'm saying to you today can apply to all students in any university that you attend in the United States. So work experience is always important. In my opinion, no matter what kind of work you do, you gain experience. You gain experience in talking to people, in solving problems, in technology skills, communication skills, organizational skills. So the work that you may be able to find on campus may not be exactly your dream job, but it always builds experience for you. So as you may know, international students who are studying on United States campuses, by the law, can work up to 20 hours per week during the academic semesters. And you can work up to 29 hours per week during the semester breaks or summer periods. Most universities, including Salem State, have a job listing where students can find available jobs on the website and they can then apply for those jobs. Students at Salem State work in computer labs, language labs, in the library, with information technology. In our office, the Center for International Education, the gym, the fitness center. So there are many, many jobs on campus, and most offices do try to help international students by hiring them for campus work where appropriate. So another way to get involved and to really gain leadership experience is with student organizations. So outside of the classroom, students have many opportunities to get involved through volunteer work, through organizations related to your major area of study, the business club, the psychology club, the Spanish club, as well as with different intramural sports, group activities such as the International Students Association, the Multicultural Students Association, There are also organizations related to interests like dancing or rock climbing or other kind of activities that students may want to participate in outside of the classroom. It's a great way to make friends, and it's also a great way to gain leadership experience because all of those groups have what's called an executive board or an e-board. So you could easily become president of, for example, the International Students Association. So when it is time for you to look for a job, if your future employer sees that you have been president of a student organization, that demonstrates that you do have leadership potential, leadership capability, and that shows that you are somebody that others trust. So if you go to this website link, you can also see the many groups and clubs available at the Salem State campus. Another way to gain experience is to volunteer at campus events or off campus with community organizations. At Salem State, we have a first year day of service. So students who are just entering our university spend a day helping organizations in our area. I think especially now after the pandemic that everyone has been through, many organizations are eager to welcome people that help them. Could be something like food banks, helping tutor young students. It could be helping with other community-based organizations such as English language programs or other outreach to immigrant communities in our area. So there are many ways to engage. Also things like our career day, there's often need for help. There's often need for students to serve as ambassadors for other new students. And our Center for Civic Engagement has many opportunities to become involved with organizations and other nonprofit groups off of campus. So volunteering means you do not get paid, but it also is also a way to gain valuable experience. So many students become volunteers and then get internships with those same organizations where it is possible that you would then get paid for your work in an internship. So I think we can't underestimate the potential of a volunteer opportunity. It is both rewarding and can lead to potential employment. So every university has what's called a career services office or a career development office, and those offices are there to help you in your career path. They're there to see if you need help with your job search, your resume writing, your career fairs that may come to campus, and different employers from different industries may be on campus for you to meet for potential employment or internships. So at Salem State, we also have a career closet a couple of times a year where students can actually get clothes that they may use to go to a job interview so that you do not have to go purchase an expensive suit or a business attire. So I think it's very important that you check out your career services office at your university as soon as you get there, because they can be your assistants to linking you to potential future opportunities. So there are two opportunities that international students have to work off campus, and those are through internships tied to their courses, to their area of study. So we call that CPT, which is curricular practical training. And many academic programs have an internship course tied to that major, tied to that area of study. So it is through that internship course that you would have to register for CPT, and that is part of the immigration system recording of international students getting permission to work off campus. So the internship can be with any group or organization or business that is related to your major. It can be paid or unpaid, and you can do more than one internship during the course of your studies if your program allows that. So when you are looking for a program, I think it's very important for you to look at whether the program has an internship course. And in that way, you can be sure to know that you will have an opportunity while you are still studying to get some work experience, whether that's paid or unpaid. Some examples from Salem State University is the biology internship. So if you are studying biology, for example, you can gain training, practical experience in working at laboratories, museums, government agencies, any sort of business that works in biotechnology or biology. And you would work with that facility to do the internship that is required to your coursework. So most programs will have an internship and described in the way that you see here in the course catalog or the course listings for a particular major. This is another example in business, marketing 485, which is through our business school at Salem State, which is called the Bertillon School of Business. And marketing 485 is an internship where you would work directly related to marketing. So you could work with any sort of business or nonprofit organization in the area of marketing. So that's just another example from Salem State. One more from computer science. And in computer science, there is a computer design practicum. So this enables you to set up a proposal for software or hardware systems. And it involves group work, meetings, discussions, and perhaps going to conferences to learn more about software or hardware systems. So all of those are considered internship opportunities. Now, optional practical training, or OPT, is the opportunity for you to work in the United States after you complete your program of study. So OPT for most programs is for 1 year. So depending on your start date, you would have 1 year to secure a job and to work for the duration of that time. If you are in a STEM field, which is science, technology, math, engineering, if you are in one of those scientific or technical fields, you can be authorized to up to 3 years of work under the OPT program. So as you are working through your degree, you can consider building your resume with CPT internships, doing a good job at those sites. And then when it is time for OPT, it is very likely that company would be looking more favorably on you to hire you for 1 year or 3 years in a STEM field if you've had a good experience with that company. So I think you should think of building on your experiences, working toward getting a job, as all students do. But in the case of international students, you will have to get to know certain people along the way through your studies, through your opportunities, through internship, volunteering, etc. And then you can work toward building your resume to get a job. Another thing that you can do to think about where you would like to study is to look at the market trends in your region. So we are in Massachusetts, Eastern Massachusetts. Boston is home to any sorts of industries, from biotechnology to finance to banking to education, life sciences. So the Boston area is home to many sorts of businesses and industries. If you go to school in a more rural or remote area of the United States, you may not have as many opportunities. So there are different websites that you can look at in order to get an idea of the labor market trends in a particular region. So the US Bureau of Labor Statistics is one place, and Glassdoor Economic Research is another website where you can go and filter and look at, maybe you're looking at a university in Montana. Montana is a state, beautiful mountains, beautiful scenery, but I'm not sure if they have a lot of opportunities for you to work in industrial organizational psychology or accounting. So you can go to this labor market data and see what kind of jobs are prominent in those areas. So that is something that I advise you to do before you decide on a university to study in. So the Boston labor market, for example, the largest employers are in healthcare, biotech, innovation, business, finance, insurance, higher education. That is the Boston labor market. So you can look here also at Massachusetts' largest employers at this kind of website here. So all of those ways are ways that you can build your resume while you are studying in the United States. So a little bit about Salem State University is that we were founded in 1854. We have about 6,000 graduate students and 1,500, undergrads and 1,500 graduate students. We've had an English language program since 1992, where you can come and improve your English proficiency before you matriculate into a degree program. We have full-time faculty, most have PhDs in their fields. We have students from 24 different states and about 50 different countries. So we have a robust and diverse student body. We have about 2,000 students that live on campus. And as I said, we're about 15 miles from the city of Boston. So that is all that I had prepared to share with you today, but you are welcome to get in touch with me or Rafaela. You can reach her through WhatsApp at that number, which is also our office phone, or feel free to email me at this email. And if anyone has questions, we are happy to answer them. Victoria, should I stop the sharing?
Yes, you can. I just sent on a chat asking if people have questions, so we can wait for a few minutes.
You can also wave your hand or put your hand up through the chat. And Rafael is happy to speak Portuguese if you would like to speak Portuguese.
While students are thinking, I do have a question. I would like to know, how is the situation in regards to international students going to Salem State during the pandemic and vaccines requirements?
That's a very good question. Salem State has had a very good COVID response. We have had a whole team dedicated to testing and isolating students who may have tested positive throughout this past now year and some months. We have had very low rates of COVID in Salem, and we have had what we think are 0 cases of transmission actually on campus. As you have probably heard in the media, Massachusetts is doing very well with COVID, and the United States is doing very well with COVID right now because of the vaccinations. So Massachusetts is one of the top 3 states in the US for people getting the vaccine. And if international students come to the US, you will be tested for COVID. And if you have not had a vaccine, we will give you a vaccine on campus. So during the period while you are still getting the second dose of the vaccine, you will have to have periodic testing. But after that, you will have gotten your vaccine and you will be able to move about campus freely. So anybody in the United States right now, whether you live here permanently, you're a student, you're an immigrant, you're undocumented, everybody can get a vaccine. It's free and it's easy. You can just go to the pharmacy. So yes, we are hoping that embassies and consulates are also opening up, so students will be able to get visas to travel. But we all feel very optimistic about the COVID situation in Massachusetts. And on in a couple of days, May 29th, businesses and activities will be back to normal before COVID times.
That's amazing to hear. Yes. It's a very different environment from what we have in Brazil. But the good news is the consulate is already offering the interviews, and they're issuing the visas for the student visas. So students are allowed to go, fortunately.
Rafaela, do you want to tell them a little bit about the process to apply for the English program? If any would like to study English language, you can speak in Portuguese.
Ok. Então, antes de falar um pouquinho do inglês, eu queria falar também sobre a minha história, que eu também era estudante internacional. Então, eu vim para cá, amei Salem State University, assim, realmente foi um amor à primeira vista. Tinha um sonho, aquele sonho brasileiro de melhorar o inglês, voltar para o Brasil e achar um emprego melhor aí no Brasil. Fui muito bem recepcionada aqui pelos professores e funcionários daqui do Salem State, o qual fez o diferencial e me fez sentir muito em casa. Além do inglês, eu alcancei outro sonho, um outro desafio também. Eu comecei a trabalhar como estudante internacional na nossa office, no Centro de Educação Internacional, e na época como estudante internacional. Depois disso, eu quis também estudar o curso de graduação em administração, aqui no Salem State também, e continuei trabalhando, mas agora não mais como estudante internacional, continuo na nossa office. Só para deixar uma mensagem para quem tem interesse de estudar fora do país, assim, nunca desisti dos sonhos, era um sonho meu desde nova, independente do momento ao qual a gente está agora, desafios sempre vão existir, né, e cabe a nós enfrentá-los da melhor maneira possível, porque o nosso futuro está logo ali. Então, acho muito importante, assim, e é até legal eu passar a minha experiência também como estudante, que às vezes as pessoas ficam, meu Deus, se isso não der certo, o que eu faço? Então, eu tenho uma experiência bem positiva de estar estudando fora do nosso país. Então, como eu falei para vocês, eu comecei no curso de inglês como segunda língua, apliquei o meu visto para estudante de inglês, fiz todo o processo. A gente pensa que é burocrático, mas não é. A Office sempre ajuda, sempre dá umas dicas, até na entrevista, como todo o processo no geral. O curso de inglês, antes de vocês começarem, é sempre feito, tem a orientação e é feita uma prova de nivelamento para ver aonde que vocês estão e aonde vocês querem chegar. Porque a maioria dos estudantes vem para estudar inglês e depois vão para um programa de faculdade ou uma pós-graduação aqui no Salem State. Então, não é difícil isso, eu aconselho a vocês, caso vocês tenham dúvida sobre valores, quanto que vocês têm que declarar, o seu sponsor, na verdade, tem que declarar. Entre em contato com a gente, qualquer dúvida que vocês tenham, pode entrar em contato, eu vou ficar muito feliz de ajudar vocês. O nosso e-mail, como a Julie já falou, o nosso e-mail geral da nossa office é o CIE@salemstate.edu. Vocês podem entrar em contato, mandem e-mail em português mesmo, que eu vou ter um prazer em respondê-los. É isso.
Thank you. Thank you, Rafaela. Obrigada.
De nada.
I see Julia Pereira is asking for graduate program, master's, PhD, what is important in the resume? Well, I think for graduate programs, they largely want to see that you are a good student. So I think if you're coming directly out of undergraduate programs, they're going to want to see your undergraduate grades. They're going to want to see good letters of recommendation from your professors, and they are going to want to see your writing. So most graduate programs will ask you for some essays, some writing, some reasons why you want to go to their program. And I think in those essays, you can talk about your experience. Some graduate programs will ask you for a resume. So if Brazil, you don't have many clubs or internships, I think you can list any work experience that you had. You can list any volunteer experience that you had. Try to work with a professor as you're an undergraduate. If your professor has research opportunities, to assist the professor without pay, to get any kind of experience that would lead you toward a good application for graduate school. It depends on the kind of university that you're applying to. Some master's and doctoral programs are very selective, and they will want you to have some kind of experience or some kind of research background. Others, not so much. So at Salem State, for example, we're a public university. Most students are coming from our region. Our university is very interested in having international graduate students. So if your grades are good, you need a TOEFL or IELTS score. Some of our programs require the GRE or GMAT, some do not. So it depends on the university. You should go to their website and look at the application for different graduate programs. You should do it in advance, so you know what they will be looking for in the application, and then you can prepare. Can you translate Graciela's question?
Oh, she's asking about PhD.
PhD?
Yeah.
What are the selective PhDs? What does she need to have?
Yeah.
Well, I think the answer is similar to what I just said. Most PhD programs are very selective. So they do want you to have really strong writing skills. They want you to have good grades and background in that particular field. If you're applying for a doctorate, you usually have to have a master's degree in the field. And through that master's degree, you can try to get experience both in working and in researching with your professors or with your program. So I think depending on the university, most doctoral programs are pretty selective. So you really want to have good grades, good writing skills, and some experience either working or researching in that field. PhD or MBA. If you want a doctorate, what is to say PhD?
Was me, Julie.
Oh, that's you.
I was just asking.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
PhD, yes. Okay, so PhD is a doctorate. Usually a PhD is a doctorate in the fields of arts and sciences. So other fields have different kinds of doctorates, like a doctorate in law, a doctorate in business. But a PhD is usually a doctor of philosophy, which is in the fields of arts and sciences. Anyone else? We're happy to answer any questions that you might have or just chat, so feel free.
Well, I think yeah, all the questions were made. I really want to thank you both for offering this webinar. I myself learned a lot about Salem State, and this recording will be available on our YouTube channel. So they will be able, students will be able to watch it later if they want to.
Very good. Thank you, Victoria, and thank you all for your attending. And if you have any questions about study in the United States in general or about Salem State, please feel free to write to us. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you,
Julie. All the best to you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye, guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.